What's up, y'all? It's Carla, aka Cla the Poet. How y'all doing? This is a update. It recently was Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers. So, as a mom, we we hold many hats, and we end up having to wear many hats. We are a cook, a nurse, a teacher, a encourager, a cheerleader. We are nannies. We are people that give birth. We are so many different things as mothers. And we are sacrificers. We are so many things. We are stabilizers. We are people who take care of the homes. We are cleaners. We are so many different things. And as I reflect on motherhood, I just took the time to think about all the different things that moms do and all the different roles that moms play and all the different things that we are. So, cheers to us mothers because we take on a lot, we deal with a lot, and we do a lot. And we get appreciated on Mother's Day, but during other times of the year, we may not get as much appreciation. So, if you're a mom, God bless you. And I hope that, you stay the course of taking care of your children and growing in potential and improving as much as you can in building a better life. So, yeah. So, cheers to all the mothers, especially single mothers who don't have husbands and who don't have children's fathers, or the fathers are absent. They take on double the work. I'm a single mom and I know all about that. So, yeah. On this Mother's Day is always has mixed feelings for me because I personally don't have any contact with my mother. The last time we spoke was maybe in 2010. That would have been about 16 years ago. And that's due to abusive behavior and, you know, her, well, it's hard to talk about still after all these years, but just abusive behavior and her ruining my reputation with other family members. Her spreading false rumors and falsehoods and leading to extended family taking sides. And, it ended up being a train wreck, and it caused, some of the traumas that I still deal with, the consequences of traumas that I deal with today. But I, still love her. I just don't deal with her. I just have no contact. And that is for my physical, mental, and spiritual well being. And, to those of you who don't have good relationships with your mom or have narcissistic or abusive moms, I can relate. Or neglectful mothers, or maybe mothers that are drug addicted, or maybe moms that are just not good people, or absent moms, or maybe your mom passed away and you just didn't have that mother figure. My heart goes out to you, and all I could say is, in that case, if you're a mom, you need to focus on being the best mom for you and your family. But also, if you have any maternal figures in your life, then you should try to reflect on them and be grateful for them. You know, all family doesn't always have to be biological. Anybody that shows love, support, unconditional respect, those are people that you can consider family. Okay? So I believe that May is also mental Health Awareness Month, and I wanted to talk about something that I did research on called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Maslow was a American psychologist, right, who came up with a model called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And in this hierarchy of needs, it basically breaks down the things that human beings need. Okay? So I looked up a couple of his models, and we're going to talk about some of the things that were on that chart. And you can go and look this up as well. So the first part of it is self actualization. And that has to deal with moral development, creativity, spontaneity, acceptance, experience of purpose, meaning, and inner potential. Okay? So when we're talking about self actualization, we are talking about the way to become the most authentic version of ourselves and how to become aligned with our higher purpose, right? Also, the next part of the chart talks about self-esteem, okay? And that has to do with confidence, achievement, respect of others, the need to be a unique individual. Okay, another part of it is love and belonging. So that has to deal with friendship, family, intimacy, and sense of connection. The next part is safety and security. So that has to do with health, employment, property, family, finances, and social ability. And lastly, psychological needs. Okay, that has to do with breathing air, creating food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep, and health as well. Okay, so these are different parts of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And in this hierarchy of needs, you find everything that human beings need to stay mentally, physically, and emotionally grounded. Okay? To me, this chart of needs makes a lot of sense. Okay? You have the first part, which is the self-actualization, realizing one's potential. Then you have the love and belonging, the esteem part, okay, which has to deal with competence, respect, and recognition. And then you have the love and belonging, which has to deal with social acceptance and correction. Then safety needs, security and predictability, and physiological needs, okay, which has to do with biological needs and requirements for survival. So earlier, I think I said I may have said psychological needs when it was physiological needs. So I'm sorry for that mistake. The last part of the chart is physiological needs, okay? So in all of these things that I spoke of, if you have a healthy balance of all of those things, that can really, really help somebody who's dealing with a mental illness. If you get balance in each and every part of these different needs and parts of the chart, then you can help someone who is mentally ill or someone who may be mentally struggling. I think that we as people, we don't think deeply enough about our needs. Sometimes we're so focused on chasing money, we're so focused on career, we're so focused on survival that sometimes, or even our families or other things, that we don't think about what we really need as people. And so during this mental health month, my suggestion would be that you can look up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, especially if you're someone who deals with mental illness or has mental health struggles. I have mental health struggles because of CPTSD. I survived DV and child abuse and adult abuse as well. And I've been going to therapy for years, and it has done wonders for me. I have grown so much. My therapist has said I've made a lot of progress, and that's always my suggestion. So if anybody is having a mental health struggle, there is a hotline that you can call. It is called 988. You dial 988, and it will put you in touch with a mental health counselor who will talk to you if you're having mental health needs or mental health struggles, and can give you resources on maybe therapists or support groups or whatever. Okay, it's a really, really good line. It's helped to save a lot of lives. The number of suicides have gone down as a result of that mental health line. So please, if you feel like you're struggling, call that line. Okay? So I just wanted to highlight that information that will give you something to think about. Lastly, when I was doing research, I also found something very interesting. So I was looking up Christian nationalism, right? And it spoke about the different rungs of it, how, they approve of authoritarian tactics like demanding people show respect for national symbols and traditions, fear and distrust of religious minorities, including Muslims, atheists, and Jewish people. They condone police violence towards Black Americans and distrust accounts of racial inequality in the criminal justice system. They believe racial inequality is due to personal shortcomings on minority groups. They report being very uncomfortable with interracial marriage and transracial adoption. They hold anti-immigrant views. They fear refugees, oppose scientists and science education in schools, and believe that men are better suited for all leadership roles while women are better suited to care for children and the home. So these are some of the rungs of Christian nationalists. I also came across a list while I was doing some research as well. The tenets of Christian religion: white supremacy, protection of our pure American womanhood, closer relationship between capital and American labor, preventing unwarranted strikes from foreign labor agitators, upholding the Constitution of the United States of America, the sovereignty of our state rights, the promotion of pure Americanism, limitation of foreign immigration, education for worthy American citizenship, protection of the weak and innocent, defense of the helpless, relief of the injured and oppressed, the suffering and unfortunate, freedom of speech and press, public education, and separation of church and state. All of those things I just mentioned were listed on the Woman of the Ku Klux Klan collection. So, if you are somebody who believes in those tenets, you are also in some of those tenets, right? Including white supremacy. You are in agreement with the women of the Ku Klux Klan, because that was on one of their cards as stating the tenets of what the Ku Klux Klan stands for and believes in. Okay? So that's just something to think about. I will be speaking more about racism when I do another clip. But for now, these are the things that have been on my mind. Okay, so once again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And I am out. I'm going to take some time to get some rest. Everybody have a great week.